Greeting online students. I'm going to be giving you an overview to your final Nursing for Practicum course. Woohoo! I know you're excited that this is the last course and that you're at the end. And I hope this will help in preparation for our sim day on Saturday. Maybe it will take away some of these questions and we won't have to spend as much time on that. So without further ado, let me pull up your course and go over that course. All right. So this is an overview of Nursing Practicum 4. Of course, you've got your home page, which will always look like your home page, okay? If there's any announcements, of course, I'll be posting them here, and every once in a while I give you a little woohoo, you can do it boost. In the student resources, right now I have posted the syllabus, so we'll pull up the Practicum syllabus. And on the Practicum syllabus, you can see here this is a 4 credit hour course. It's going to be taught in the fall semester, of course. You can see your faculty have remained the same. Woohoo! Office hours are as posted, but with us it's pretty much as needed based. Just email when you need us. Same required text. Our course description, of course, we're going to be building upon what you learned in Clinical 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to successfully complete a preceptorship at the end of this course. So your objectives have advanced to the last level. So these will be the last time you see the concepts of caring, diversity, excellence, integrity, ethical decision making, holism, patient-centeredness, teaching learning principles, nursing process, and leader manager. Instructional and evaluation methods, we're going to be doing lecture, group discussion. We're going to be doing, of course, some written exercises, clinical evaluation tools, guest speakers, and the grading scale is the same. We've not changed that for this semester. Your course grade is going to be computed as follows, with leadership management comprising 15% of your grade, community service learning project presentations 15% of your grade, daily practicum grades 30%, preceptorship 35%, and EKG interpretation 5%. Now, the community will be some of the community assignments you have. For the service learning projects, as far as this semester, all that I'm going to make the online students do, if you'll remember, on October the 10th, on that Monday, you're welcome to attend the health fair and help with that all day. I say all day, it's like 8 to 2. Or you can do 8 hours community service in your community and you will get credit for that. So to successfully complete this course, the student must complete this daily clinical component and preceptorship with an average of 76 or better, attain a 76 or better on all the above components. So you have to do it separately for your clinical, separately for your preceptor, and then all together greater than 76%. Again, no late assignments will be accepted. Please refer to your handbook on academic dishonesty, and here's our career disability policy, which has not changed. Don't forget, we'll be filling out for our required background checks as well as other things coming up. So we're very excited. All right, that's the syllabus. Then your clinical schedule, if you'll go over it, I did have to make just a few minor tweaks and changes in it. You will see that we are doing Sim Lab from 8 to 5, and that has changed, and that will be 7:30 to 5. 7:30 to 5. So be here at 7:30. We're going to meet in room 927 in Nursing and Allied Health Building. We're going to be doing simulation lab, everyone on the first day. And then the next 2 weekends, and after that preceptorship, so August 27th and 28th, and September 10th and 11th, and the makeup days to be announced. Amber Calendar is in the blue, and there's her contact number. Janice Enlows will be in ERICU House Charge at White River. And Katie Camden's in the green. She will be doing 2 East post-op holding and recovery, which you will love having her in clinical. And then Kendall Barron, which some of y'all had her the first semester, will be over 3rd floor. So we're very excited to have them come back. I think you'll be excited also. If there's any problems with the schedule that you can see, let me know. Then we have our sim lab day. Again, it says, please note there's a slight change in the schedule. Go by this one. We will start at 7:30 instead of 8. So on sim lab, and I gave this to you before you left, and I believe that's the only thing I had to change. And I had to tweak the times because I had a Unity request a different recruitment time. So it's from 7:30 to 9, Kaplan integrated exam, and you're going to be taking the medical surgical 1A, and we're going to actually be taking that in NAH 902. We ordered 75 Chromebooks, and now we're able to take our exams over here instead of y'all having to go back and forth to the computer lab. That's a good thing. Between 9 and 9:30, Unity from Cersei wants to come and recruit you. Then from 9:30 to 11, we're going to be doing an orientation to preceptorship, asking what kind of questions you have, making sure you don't have any questions or concerns. Then from 11 to 11:30, White River is going to be here, followed by lunch, and I believe White River has just contacted me, and they have agreed to bring you lunch, so you will not have to have your lunch that day. Woohoo! Free lunch. Then from 12:30 to 2, we'll do our second Kaplan integrated downstairs in 902. And then from 2 to 5, we'll rotate through our groups. We changed this around based upon feedback from students who said, by the end of the day, I'm absolutely worn out. Y'all asked for 2 Kaplans not to be given back to back, and for them not to be given the last part of the day. So we listened, and hopefully the schedule will work. For the afternoon rotations, you'll rotate on 1 hour and then go to the next. I'll be focusing primarily on diabetes in my group for group 1. Miss Camden will start group 2 out on respiratory chest tubes. And then Miss Medley is going to be suturing and stapling station. That sounds like fun. And when you go after you go through rotate to these 3 groups, you'll be free to go home. There will not be any paperwork or case studies due. You will just get a participation grade in Sim Lab. If you don't participate in the rotation of the groups, then you won't get a good grade. So you want to make sure you're participating. Other than that, it should be an easy A for the day. All right. So if you got any questions about the syllabus, the clinical schedule, or the Sim Lab day, let me know. We'll move on to content modules. Content modules will be set up here, and this is where, again, you'll click on it by week, and it will have what is due. On this one, it says orientation of preceptorship. Then it says please review the content in the preceptorship icon located on the home page on the left-hand side page. That will be down here, so we will be getting to that. So that is set up the same. Course messages is our email contact, set up the same. I did send you an email. I want to make sure you check that out. It was over preceptorship. And for you to please follow up on me where you're at, because what I sent you is all I know at this point. So send me an email following up where you're at with preceptorship. We will not be doing discussions. There's no group. There's where my grades are. Exams and quizzes will be located here. Your community service forms are located here. It says, remember, you have 2 choices this semester. Either you can attend the October 10th health fair on campus and be done with all your hours, or you can complete 8 hours in your community, whichever you choose. All right, then we move on to, again, clinical assignments, and this is where you will actually be able to have your assignments. Now, your level 4 grading tool will be here, and that's what you will look at for your level 4 grading tool, and you'll just have to go in and open that and write a short summary of what you learned in SimLab, and that way that will open that up and allow us to actually put your grade in. Again, should be an easy grade for the day. Then you've got your journals. That's new. Once we start preceptorship, you will have journals, and I will be the one grading all of your journals. And what I will do, I will keep up with those journals. And this one, for example, is Amanda's. So if Amanda, well, actually I can go back because I have a journal too. And here's my journal. And it says no journal entries have been created. So I could create a journal entry. And I would write on here like clinical, oops, I wouldn't do it that way. Clinical day 1, okay? And then you're going to have instructions, exactly what we want you to write out, you know. ER at Unity with Jane Doe, 7 to 7A to 7P. And then you will write, let's see, you should have to tell me where you're at, what you did, and then you would tell me, you know, what objective I'm meeting. I'm meeting objective number 1, caring, and then I would start just typing, okay? So that's how you will do each week. Once you start preceptorship, you have a week to complete your journal entry. Once you do your journal entry, then you would just go down here and do post entry, okay? Now, I'm not going to save this because that I'm not going to be doing that. Do not do attachments and attach them, because we have to go in here and open each attachment when we get ready to grade them, and I have to print all of this out at the end to put in your file to make sure you met all the course objectives at the end. So it's very important that you address all 10 objectives during this time to get full credit. So make sure you're keeping up with them. I've done 1, now I'm going to do 2. I skipped to 6. Make sure you're doing them all. So I'm going to cancel this one out, but I would have just done post if I wanted to post. And then when I come over here, it will show my journal's empty. But if you had something in yours and I clicked on it, it would say you had an entry, and then I would go in and give you feedback. Make sure you check your journal entries frequently. Sometimes I may ask for more information. Sometimes I may tell you you're on the right track. Sometimes I may tell you, wait, you didn't do this right. You need to go back and look at this. So always, always go back and look at it. And unless I overlook it, I will get that information back to you as quickly as possible. I look at those daily to see if you have any journal entries. The last thing we're going to talk about in this course is preceptorship. This is your preceptorship handbook, so make sure you download a copy for yourself, and we will have a copy for you to give to your actual preceptor on the 20th. So this is your preceptor handbook. Please read through this before the 20th. I think it will make that day go a little bit easier if you've read through it and you come with questions. It gives you the criteria for selecting your preceptor. So once you've went to your place and they say that you can be there without a clinical instructor, otherwise, if we have preset it up with NEA, Unity, White River, or UAMS, then we have made sure they met this criteria. But they must hold a current unencumbered Arkansas license. They must have a minimum 1-year experience as an RN, and preferably for sure in the area they're precepting you. They should hold at least an associate degree with this higher degree desirable. They have to foster autonomy, enjoy teaching, and demonstrate desirable judgment, attitude, and values. So if you get with someone and you find out real quick they don't enjoy teaching, don't be miserable for the whole time. If it's not working out and you need to get with me within that first or second time and say, listen, we're going to have to go to game plan B. We're just not compatible or whatever. Should be respectful of the student and others in the learning opportunities, and should demonstrate the ability to create and maintain an atmosphere that shows and encourages independent, self-directed learning. Preceptors will not be assigned more than 1 student at a time, and they're not paid employees. They will help evaluate the student upon termination of the clinical rotation, but they will not be fully responsible for it. Your responsibilities of your preceptorship, your preceptor will get this handbook so that they know and look over this. Tells you what our responsibilities are. We're going to be orienting the preceptors. We're going to be collaborating with the preceptors, determining that they are helping you obtain your objectives and your goals, and being available as needed. I am on call 24/7 the whole time the preceptor begins and ends, so you are to call me with any issues whatsoever. And here's your responsibilities. The student should come with comes with unique educational and life experiences, and you're going to be responsible for selection of your preceptor and turning in all your required documents. Assisting with planning of the learning experience. Selecting a preceptor in an area that will expand and build upon current knowledge base. You cannot be in an area in which the student currently works. Okay? Meeting the deadline for preceptor selection and turning in all your required signed forms by the preceptor on or before September 6th. So by September 6th, you have to have had a preceptor selected, and all the required signed forms have to be turned in to me. And I'll go over what forms those are. So mark that on your calendar, September 6th. I'm sorry, I just got out of GNRN orientation and my throat is killing me. Turn in a projected preceptor hour schedule by September 13th. Well, Miss Candler, she only knows what she's going to be working part of this month. If that's all she knows, then that's what you put. So just put the hours you know, but we want kind of a projection of how you think you're going to get these 96 hours in. But by September the 13th is when that projected hours is due, and that is due as a journal entry. So the first thing you're going to do is send me these preceptor forms by September the 6th. Then by September the 13th, you're going to have a projected schedule of how you think you're going to get the hours in. Don't forget, you have to allow yourself 30 minutes for lunch, so make sure you include that. So if you say you're working 7 to 7, that's 12 hours without including a lunch. So you would have to say, 6:30 in the morning. Excuse me. Ragweed. Excuse me. You would have to say 6:30 till 7 at night. And that way that would get in your 30-minute lunch. So you have to cover that time frame. And again, if you don't have it all, then just give me what you got. And as she gets her schedule, then you make another entry and you update that. You will work with the assigned preceptor only. Well, my preceptor called in and I want to go with this person. They've not signed any of the forms. They've not been through the preceptor things. So one of the things you do is make sure you communicate well with your preceptor. You say, here's my number. Here's my phone number. If you call in, make sure you call me. If you get LWAP, make sure you call me. Okay, so that they're communicating with you and you don't drive 100 miles to get there and then they say, oops, I'm not going to be there today. You've got to meet the course objectives and carry out what you've agreed to do. Refuse reimbursement of any type. Work around the preceptor's usual schedule. Don't be asking them to work lots of hours to fit your needs. Working with your assigned faculty support advisor, and that would be me. Turning in a completed preceptor journal within 1 week of completion of each of your clinical experiences. Evaluating the preceptor, and I'll show you where to do that in a little bit. Submitting all your written work. Incorporating level 4 objectives into your clinical experience. Identifying leadership concepts. And precepting no more than 24 hours a week. That's 7 o'clock Monday till 7 o'clock Monday. So you can only do 24 hours of preceptorship in 1 week, no more. So could you finish this in 4 weeks? Yes, you could. But it's set up to go over 8. But you could finish it in 4 if you did the 24 a week. Your attending preceptor hours should be between September 20th. In other words, you can't do it before the 20th. And you can go through November the 22nd. That means you could complete your hours anytime between October 5th and November 22nd, 4 to 8 weeks. Participation in your clinical practicum evaluation will be via Blackboard. I will be getting with you personally. We may set up some Blackboard Collaborate sessions one-on-one so that I can do an ending preceptorship, how you did thing. Though the faculty and the preceptor are committed to assisting you, the ultimate responsibility for learning rests within the student. So, what can you ACCBRN students do in the preceptorship role? This tells them that you're seniors and goes over what they can do. Again, they get a copy of this. Then the conclusion, then you have these appendices. Your preceptor you select will have to, this is the nursing preceptor evaluation form, and at the very end, when you are finished with your hours, you will evaluate your preceptor and send this in to me. Then in Appendix B, this is what your preceptor will look at as receipt of the handbook. It says, I have received a copy of the handbook, so you will make sure your preceptor gets one, and I have watched the preceptor video. So there is a video there that they have to watch before and sign that they have watched this. That they understand the roles and responsibility of the student, faculty, and themselves, and it's all laid out in this handbook. And that they know that the appropriate faculty will not be there but will be on call. Preceptor approval. So this is one form your preceptor has to sign. This is another form that they have to sign saying that they don't, again, know that an instructor's not on site, that they accept responsibility for you, and that they know that they can get a hold of us as needed. Then Appendix C is the preceptor's resume. They have to fill this out. This information is necessary and mandated by the Arkansas State Board of Nursing. It's confidential. It's not to share with anyone, but it is needed for that. Finally, this is Appendix D. This is your timesheet. To make sure you run one of these off before you start your preceptorship. There, it says, please note you can't count lunch breaks or regular breaks in your total hours. So you will put over here what date you went, what hours you worked, what was your lunch time. Then your preceptor will initial it, and you will initial it. Then you will keep up with your total hours as you're going, and then your preceptor will verify and sign this. For the traditional track, Ms. Enlows and Ms. Camden are on call. But for the online track, I will be on call for you the whole time, September the 20th through November the 21st, and that through midnight. So I will be on call up to the 22nd. So here's my cell phone number. For those of you who don't have it, please put it in your phone. And when you text me, please let me know who you are, because a lot of times I can't put every student's phone number in my phone, or it would drive me crazy, because number one, I don't know how. Appendix E. This is your guidelines for preceptorship clinical experiences. What are you going to do with this journal? Well, your one or more objectives have to be selective. So you're going to have to select. If you're going 8 times and there's 10 objectives, that means at least 2 times you're going to have to address 2 objectives. So you have to address all 10 level objectives in your handbook. You will, each student's provided a private discussion area. I showed you where that was set up in the practicum. It's called the journal section. And you will post there, and no one will see it but you or me. It's your responsibility to seek approval for all clinical experiences and make up time. For this, it's not like you make up another day. If you or your faculty can't be there, you let them know, you let me know, and we work out another time. When you fill out your schedule, be sure that you put 2 or 3, especially at least 2 alternate days that you can go for makeup days in case something happens when you're doing those 96 hours planning them out. You will, if your clinical schedule doesn't match your timesheet, then I'm going to be getting a hold of you wanting to know why. And those hours may potentially not count, and you don't want that. So the preceptor clinical experience, your reflective journal, what in the world goes in it? Well, again, you always start at the top with your date, your time, your preceptor's name and location. Then you're going to list the objective that you're addressing, 1 or 2. And then you're going to critique your clinical experience. How did you accomplish the objective? What would you do differently? So you've got to prove to me that you met that objective of caring, and how did you do it? You always will start out by going to your handbook and listing this according to the UACCB Student Handbook. This is the definition of caring. You will document all of your references in APA format. We expect you to use your books, your past notes, any resources to help and document throughout the reflective journal. And I've got some examples to share with you. And use critical thinking and reflective journaling. And that is all of that part. Your examples of clinical journals, we'll go over one of those. For example, you can see they start out here with the date, who their preceptor was, and where their location was. Then it gave the level objective, the core value. They went over 10, how they demonstrated leadership, manager, and care. Their definition, it said according to the UACCB RN Student Handbook 2014, page 8. Now this is older examples. Leadership management is. And then it goes in, today we were charge nurse, this happened. Well, the charge nurse wrote this, and they used one of their books. Then they used another book here. And if you're using page numbers, you should have quotes. So make sure if you're using page numbers, you have quotes. And I'm going to let you read over these. There's several different examples. There's one for integrity journal, and they should not, of course, be just like this one. There's one for teaching learning principles. And again, these are just examples to get you started off on the right foot. And then here's your rubric for your grading of your preceptorship. You'll be graded on all these objectives like Carrie. Did you identify your preceptor strengths and weaknesses? And that should be 1 point, not explanation point. Did you show clinical learning this day? References and citations were used appropriately in the APA format. Accurately reflect objectives by the actual experience, 4 points. So you can see each one are going to be worth 10 points for a total of 100 points. Penalty for being late as your student handbook, up to 5% off your total points available for grammar and spelling. And again, we don't accept late assignments right now, so you can't turn it in late. Instructor signature, student signature. So if you turn it in late, you're going to have to repeat that objective. Okay. I'm going to print this real quick myself so I have it. And that concludes the orientation to nursing practicum. If you got any questions, let me know.